Welcome back to Outside View Scandals. Today we're diving into one of the biggest financial scandals to rock the world, the Libor Scandal. Yep, that little thing where several UK banks got caught with their hands in the cookie jar, or should I say the interest rate jar? For those who don't know, Libor stands for London Interbank Offered Rate. It's an average interest rate calculated from estimates submitted by leading banks in London. Sounds innocent, right? Except in this case, several banks were involved in manipulating it. Yeah, you heard that right. Manipulating the very rate that impacts loans, mortgages, and even student debt. Now, if you're wondering how it was done, let me explain that. It turns out that a handful of traders realized they could fudge the numbers a bit. They would submit false data on what interest rates they expected to pay, which skewed the entire calculation of Libor. And this manipulation wasn't just a one-off thing either. Nope, this was a coordinated, long-term effort. Over years, they inflated or deflated the rate to benefit themselves or their pals. And the best part, most of them got away with it for years. It's like playing Monopoly with a friend who's secretly stuffing extra money under the table, except this time it's real people's money. Banks like Barclays, Royal Bank of Scotland and others were involved in this scandal. And let's not forget that Libor affects trillions of dollars worth of financial contracts worldwide. Yes, trillions with a T. So when these banks tweaked the rate just a little, it had huge consequences on loans, mortgages, and investments around the globe. But here's where it really gets juicy. It wasn't just a few rogue traders doing this behind closed doors. Some of the top brass at these banks knew exactly what was going on. In fact, some higher-ups even encouraged this manipulation. But why? Because it made them money, of course. And in the world of high finance, the rules are just suggestions, right? Once the scandal came to light in 2012, the outcry was massive. Investigations were launched, fines were slapped on the guilty parties, and several traders were even sentenced to prison. Barclays was the first to get hit with a $450 million fine. That's not chump change, even for a bank of their size. But let's be real, was anyone surprised? I mean, if history has taught us anything, it's that when it comes to money, ethics tend to go out of the window. But here's the kicker. Despite all the fines and sentences, the system didn't collapse. The banks involved are still very much around today. Libor, on the other hand, is on its way out. The scandal tainted its reputation so much that the global financial system is phasing it out, replacing it with other benchmarks. And yet, for all the damage done, most of the folks responsible have moved on to new jobs or retirement. Some might even be sipping champagne on their yachts as we speak right now. Ah yes, the sweet sound of justice. So, what have we learned from the Libor scandal? Well, if you ask me, it's a classic case of too big to fail. These banks were so deeply ingrained in the global financial system that punishing them too harshly might have caused even more chaos. So they got fines, a slap on the wrist, and life went on. But the real lesson here, maybe it's time we pay a little more attention to the people who control the numbers behind the numbers. Because if we don't, they might just be tempted to tweak them again. After all, in finance, it seems like bending the rules is just part of the game. And when the stakes are this high, who can resist a little manipulation? That's it for today's episode on Outside View Scandals. If you want to dive deeper into more eyebrow-raising stories like this, don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for the next scandal. Thanks for watching, and remember, always read the fine print, especially when banks are involved. And the next video is right here in the end screen.